Welcome to Night Freaks, where we interview DJs, producers, nightlife industry workers, and everyone in between. You can find us on Instagram at night.freaks and Spotify and YouTube at Night Freaks. I hope you enjoy this episode, and please keep listening. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Night Freaks. Today I'm sitting down with a rising DJ and producer duo taking the house music by storm. Dow and Andrew Melka, better known as Evenity, have been making waves with their infectious grooves and unforgettable performances. In this episode, we're diving into their recent European adventure, including Ibiza, highlights, and their unforgettable moments reconnecting with Diplo, plus the story behind him giving him their USB that changed their trajectory. We'll also get the inside scoop on their new track Blue Strips, just released on Ultra Records, and hear about what it takes to collaborate as a duo, stay inspired, and keep climbing in the electronic music world. Guys, how's it going?
What's up?
What's up? How are ya?
Doing good. Glad to have you guys on. I know we've been talking about this for a little while, and it's good to just have you both on here.
Yeah, thank you for having us, man.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Of course. I'm glad I could get you on after that trip. It looked sick.
More than sick.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's get right into it. I like to start these interviews off with just kind of talking to you guys about really how you got into this and what kind of started, this music scene and this industry that you wanted to go into. So if you could just give us a little background on what got you into it and stuff like that, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll let you go first.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's honestly kind of a similar story for both of us, just in terms of like who got us into music. So for me personally, for me it was Martin Garrix. Like, he's always been someone that I've looked up to, and when I was a junior in high school, I stumbled upon the Martin Garrix show on YouTube. And so, yeah, that was like my first little, I guess, insight into, being a DJ and like seeing what it's like to be on tour and play shows and play festivals and all that stuff. And I literally just binge watched the whole first season, and after I was like, that's what I want to do. And so, pretty much after that, my senior year, I got my graduation gift of my laptop, and like from there I downloaded, FL Studio, and then went to Logic, and then ultimately ended up on Ableton over the years of just, learning but that's kind of like what got me into it and, kind of sparked it for me.
Sure.
Yeah, it was very similar for me. Just a few years prior to that, when I was like 12 or 13, my brother started showing me dance music for the first time. It's like when I heard like Alesso, Heroes,
sure.
And stuff like that. And I remember he was telling me that this was the first time I had heard that you could become a major artist and not be the one singing the song. And so a couple months went by, and then that's when Martin Garrix's Animals came out. And I remember thinking, this is funny to say now, but I remember thinking like, oh, dude only has one song. Like, how could he possibly be on Ultra Music main stage? And so I was like, I have to watch this. And so I watched it, and I remember that day, like, I got whole body chills. Like, after his intro song, I was like, I don't want to do anything else besides this. This is it. This is it for me. And so that was when I was 13. And I remember my dad got me Logic Pro back then, and then we've just been grinding away ever since. And for the longest time, I did like a solo project. We both did solo projects.
Sure.
I mean, obviously, we didn't know each other both when we even started making music, but when eventually, like, we were doing our solo projects, and then we connected through a mutual friend in high school, or he was out of high school. I was just finished high school, and then we started making music together, but not as Evenity.
Sure.
It was just as our own individual people. We were showing each other tricks and tips and stuff, and he started coming over every single day, and we started hanging out all the time. And
yeah, this guy literally taught me everything I know. So I'd be still making probably the worst music ever if it wasn't for this guy. So it worked out well, but yeah.
Yeah, and then when we were in college, when I was in college, we were making music over Zoom all the time because
Sure.
obviously I couldn't come over to the studio or hang out with him in person because I was far. And after making a couple songs together, we were just like, we should do this as a duo. And we like making music together more than we like making music separate from each other anyway,
Sure.
so might as well do it all the time. And we started our duo then. We didn't really have a name for it. That came much later, but that's when technically Evenity had started, was around, 3 years ago.
2-ish years ago,
Yeah.
right around then. So, yeah, it's been fun. Like you said, we would just work on a ton of music together, and it kind of got to the point where like every time we were in the studio together working on something, we would finish a song and it'd be like, damn, this is really good. Like this is super. So it's just like time and time again. Eventually, we're just like, you know what? Like, why don't we just start a duo? We work well together, and obviously we're best friends, so we enjoy being around each other. And it's always good vibes, and yeah, it's just fun to make good tunes together. So yeah.
Sure. So would you say that like you guys working together and just having like good camaraderie, good banter, I'm assuming, and just getting along really well helped push you guys to then form Evenity and kind of kick your solo projects and focus on the one main goal?
Yeah, 100%. I think we both realized that, for one, it's like, well, we were best friends before even thinking of doing Evenity, and so like, I mean, just leading up to it, like we always worked better when we were together because we complement each other in the forms of the kind of in the studio and when we're out and talking to people and everything else. Like I'm since I've been doing it longer, I guess I'm more like technically advanced, whereas he's like better at coming up with the starting ideas, and so like he'll start ideas, I'll finish them, and it makes it really easy to power through music as fast as possible, and it ends up always being results that we like better than anything else.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I think our dynamic prior to starting Evenity is what sort of inspired us to start Evenity and become a duo.
Sick.
Yeah.
And you think like working together is sometimes easier and like easier to get ideas out and work through them than kind of working separately and just being alone trying to do it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the nice thing about being in a duo is that we're still like our separate people. So like there's been times that like he'll make a whole song and I don't even touch it, but like
Sure.
it's still coming out as like an Evenity song, and like vice versa. But like he said, it's like I'll maybe start an idea and get it to a good point, and then maybe he'll hop on it and like finish it off or polish it off, or vice versa. And I don't know, I feel like it just opens us up to just creating so much more music. Again, whether it's just him working on something or just me or us working, together on it. There's so many different ways that we can create music and finish music. And so, yeah, it just, I guess it just makes it a lot easier to kind of crank out tunes just like,
Yeah, and on top of that, I'm sure every producer, DJ, artist ever has experienced, writer's block, where you just
Sure.
sit and you're just like, I can't think of anything. Nothing sounds good. And the good thing about being in a duo is like, what tends to happen for us is like when I'm in the writer's block, he's not, so he can start ideas all the time, and it helps me be able to like, if I can't think of something, at least I can make something that was good sound better.
Right.
And then when he's in writer's block, I'm usually not, and so then I'm starting ideas and everything. So it makes it so that way we never have to like have those periods of just nothingness. Because I remember as like my solo project, if I got writer's block, it's like nothing was made ever.
For sure.
That's it.
For sure. And I know how you guys said like a lot of the times one of you will start an idea, the other one will finish it, kind of thing. So like, how do you approach writing and producing together? Like, do you guys like split roles a lot of the time, or is it really just like a natural thing or an organic thing that just comes together and works out? And like, how do you guys go about that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time recently, it's kind of just been, I mean, we live together and like our rooms are right next to each other and we both have our little studios in our rooms. So like a lot of the time it'll just be like, I'll just be like chilling in my room or on the couch or something, and I can just hear like boom, boom, boom. I can hear work. And so like I'll literally just walk in his room while he's starting a new idea and like just sit in, and then from there we just start working on it together, and I start tossing in ideas to maybe make things a little bit better, or try something new, and that same thing kind of happens. Yesterday we started a new track, and he was getting some work done, and then he came in and we started working on it together for like an hour or so. And then, yeah, so I mean, we work on a lot of music together, and it's usually pretty organic in terms of like, very rarely I think we like tell each other like, hey, let's sit down and start a song today.
Sure.
Like, it's most of the time like we don't talk to each other about, hey, we're gonna work on music today, or we're gonna do this. Like, we'll just start ideas, and like someone will hear it, and if we're like, oh, that sounds sick, we'll sit in and start working on it. And then, yeah, there's other times where like, we might be, completely in, different states, and he'll start something if he's traveling and like I'm not even there, and he'll send an idea and be like, yeah, what do you think of this? And then I'll tell him to send me the project, and we'll do it that way. There's all sorts of different ways that we'll work together on things, and yeah, but most of the time it's pretty organic, and
Cool.
we never really try to force anything.
Cool. And how long have you guys been living together?
Since January, so what is that, like 8 months or so?
You
Yeah.
think like living together and just being around each other all the time, like how you're saying, like you can hear, everything from outside or in your room or whatever it is, has that helped you guys like get your production flow down and just be able to push ideas out a lot faster rather than being apart?
I think definitely, because like when we were living separate, I mean, I lived like 25 minutes no traffic from him, but usually I would go over like after work or after school or whatever. And so like every time we wanted to make music together, I would go to his studio or he would come to mine, and we'd like have to sit down and try and start an idea from scratch. And it was always like if it didn't feel right, like it was like, well, that was an entire day wasted. Like
Yeah.
we can't work together again now for a while, because I got to do my own stuff, he's got to do his own stuff, right? But now, because we would live together, it's like, oh, he goes to work all day, I go to work all day, we come back, and it's like we still have the opportunity for like an hour to just be able to sit down and start an idea. Or we have the ability on weekends to like, go out and get inspired together about the music that we're listening to. And it just like, it allows us to like fuse everything that we sort of have in our heads together all at once, which is really nice.
Sure.
But yeah, it just made the whole process a lot easier.
Oh no, I bet it's just way easier, because even if you have like a little bit of spare time, it's like, okay, I hear him producing, I'll hop in there real quick and see what I can do, and just like, yeah, it seems like it would definitely go a lot better. I just interviewed these other dudes a couple of days ago, and one of them lives in San Diego, one lives in LA, and so they are like all through that, sending stuff over, like trying to make like mission trips so they can come out and just stay for the weekend or whatever it is. And definitely seems like that is a lot harder than obviously living together and just being able to spit those ideas out and work on them quickly and just keep getting stuff down. So that seems really good. But
Yeah.
what are some challenges that you guys have had to navigate through as a duo? Because I know you guys probably have a little bit of different vision or workflow or whatever it is, like musical direction. What have there been any challenges that have kind of stuck out to you, and how have you worked through those?
I would say, like, for me, one of the biggest challenges is like just sometimes it can be hard to film content.
Okay.
Whether it's like there'll be a time where maybe we have to get some content out for a song coming out, and like if he's not there, like we're a duo, so it should be like both of us in the content, or if I'm not there, it just makes it a little bit hard sometimes to I guess get the content out the way we would want to have both of us in it equally. I don't want to be in any of the content more than him, and vice versa. It's supposed to be equal between the two of us. And so sometimes that can be a little tough, but it's, nothing that we don't work around. Like we're always able to, create new ways, to make it happen to where we are both in the content. But I would say for me, that's probably the only thing that I can think of that we've really ran into that's kind of been an issue. And it's not even an issue. It's just like sometimes it can be a little annoying or like frustrating.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it hasn't really been an issue, but I mean, I guess like if I had to think of one, it's just because there's two sets of ideas always being thrown out there. It's like, it's hard to make up your mind on certain things. So like someone will come up with an idea and like they'll think about it, and all of a sudden someone else will throw it and it sort of changes your idea, and then you can't decide which one's better, and then all of a sudden someone throws another idea out. So it's just always kind of whatever. We haven't really struggled with that too much. Usually we're pretty good at just being like,
yeah, that's sick.
Either we'll do that one or we'll do all of them and then figure out which one's the best after the fact. But I mean, it's kind of like even when you're in the studio, like if a lot of people like feel very strongly about their creative process, and then it has to be they're in the flow state or whatever. And sometimes if you have someone else talking over your shoulder, it's kind of like backseat driving where you're just like, shut up, like I don't want to I focus for 2 seconds, let me get this idea out. I mean, and so sometimes it's like ideas and flows can be sort of haltered. But again, like we don't, surprisingly enough, like even though we live together, we still, like in terms of music, we still don't work in the studio together all the time, if not even maybe 25% of the time. And so like we don't really run into that problem, but because that's sort of why we don't start ideas together anymore. Like it hasn't ever caused issues to where we were like, we can't do this anymore. But it's just when an idea pops in my head, I don't have to like go over to his house and like sit down and remember it or whatever. It's just like I can start it now, and then that's usually when like the big ideas have to come out, and then the final polishing stuff is when we're together. But I wouldn't say that we actually run into any major issues yet. I mean, we're like at the end of the day, we're best friends, so we always really get along, which makes it a lot easier.
Definitely. So let's get into more of like I know you guys just got back from Europe a couple days ago. So yeah, just tell me about that trip, a couple highlights from that, and just kind of like what that was like. It looked sick. It looked sick.
Yeah, that was probably like the trip of my life. Like it was insane. And yeah, I guess the whole reason for that trip was pretty much stemmed from like when our first single came out, Back to You. We had Matt from Medusa. Sure. He reached out to us, and he kind of just hit us up and was like, hey, I love the track, love your guys' vibe, and pretty much just said, if you guys are ever in Ibiza, let me know, would love to meet up, and we'll have you out at a show. And him and I were both kind of like, we should probably go to Ibiza, that'd be pretty cool to, meet him. And so, fast forward, I was still working, and so I figured I could probably get like a week off, and we could do like a week in Ibiza and, meet him and just, have a fun trip. And then I ended up getting laid off like a little bit before that. And so I was like, screw it. Like, let's send it. Let's go on a 2.5 week trip. Like, let's just go for it. And so that's what kind of made the trip like a little bit longer than what it was, supposed to be. And so, yeah, getting laid off was kind of a blessing in disguise in that sense. And so, yeah, that was the whole reason we went out there. And then, yeah, do you want to kind of pick up like from when we landed Thursday night?
Yeah. So I mean, leading into the trip, we didn't know anybody out there. Mm-hmm. We didn't really have any plans aside from like the tickets to the concerts to the shows that we paid for already. Sure. So like we knew going in we were gonna see like a show at Amnesia, a show at High, a show at Ushuaia, and just like we had paid for those tickets in advance. But like in terms of knowing people and connections out there, we had none except for what we thought was gonna be like Medusa. And so we show up first day, and we ended up going out, and we went out to Amnesia to see Josh Baker back-to-back Kedema.
Sick.
Amazing set, they killed it. But we realized that people weren't like too open to talking that much.
Okay.
And it's like you can't really meet anybody important unless you're in the right rooms or in the
Definitely.
right areas. So like if you're GA at one of these shows, it's like this is not going to be how this works. And so we were kind of like, this is going to be a long trip, man. This is going to be a long week. And then that was on Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, we just sort of like hung out in our hotel. There wasn't much going on that we wanted to go to. And then we ended up meeting this girl who works in music, and she ended up being an absolute angel, just like guardian angel coming from heaven. I don't know what the heck happened, but we met her, and she unlocked doors that we never thought would even be able to be open. So like when we went to Medusa's show, we show up and we were on the guest list, but that got us just free entry and backstage. Mm-hmm. But it didn't get us like to the area where you can actually meet Medusa, and we were like, the reason we came on the strip is to meet him. And so luckily this girl was able to make some calls and got us into the green room area, and so that way we could meet him, and we actually did get to meet him, and it was really nice to talk to him. I mean, he was amazingly nice, and
he was super nice. One of the nicest people I've met in the music industry.
For sure.
Super down to
earth.
earth.
Makes it so much better.
I know. Exactly. Yeah. It was so nice talking with him, and he was super excited to talk to us and meet us. And he was stoked on everything that we've been doing, and he told us that he's been keeping up with us and watching what we're doing. So that was it's nice to hear when there's someone that you look up to, and to hear them say that you're doing a good job and that they're watching you. Like it's nice to hear. So yeah, Matt was super nice, super cool.
Yeah. And then continuing on, like we were able to see Dom Dalla because of that. We went to see Calvin Harris at Ushuaia, which was amazing. We went to see Dom Dalla on Wednesday, which was amazing. And all of it was just like, being in the right rooms, meeting a lot of people. Sure. We got to meet a lot of people that work in Ibiza. We got to meet a lot of the people that work on the various different artist teams, which was super, super cool, super useful for us. Like we didn't even imagine that was going to be a thing that we could do.
Yeah.
And so that sort of like concluded the first week. And after that, we had planned to just like travel. Yeah. Like that was the work bit of like the networking bit, and that was like the non-holiday part. And then we had planned to go to Prague for a couple days, Dublin for a couple days, and Sweden for a couple days. But this girl was like, hey, you have all this Diplo stuff that's been going on that happened a couple of months prior to that, which started our whole career in the first place, put us on the map, sort of. And she was like, well, if you have all this stuff going on, Diplo's going to be there on Tuesday, so maybe it would be in your guys' best interest to come back. And so we changed the entire itinerary to we still did Prague for the amount of time we were going to do Prague. That's where we filmed a lot of like our promo stuff for our Blue Strips out, which was really fun. Yeah. Touring around Prague, taking pictures in places while we were wearing the fancy pants and stuff.
Yeah. I love those pants, by the way. Those are awesome.
Thank you. But yeah, and then we had to change it. So instead of doing 3 days in Dublin and 4 days in Sweden, we did about 12 hours in Dublin. And then had to hop right back on the plane and go straight back to Ibiza. And then we were able to, luckily enough, meet again because of this girl, Angel. She got us the ability to meet Diplo, like actually meet him, because we never got to the chance to like properly meet him. Like it was like when we gave him the USB the first time, it was very much like, hey, this is who we are. Here's the USB. Take a listen, please. Sure. And then he did. But like we never actually got a chance to meet him, and so this time we actually got to meet him, and it went super well. Like he was amazingly nice too. Yeah. Very excited for us and our journey and everything, and then he ended up making a whole nother video about us again, which
yeah, crazy, dude. I've seen that thing everywhere.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy too, because like when we were having the conversation with him, like after we kind of wrapped up and like they recorded the video, like, we just kind of went up to him again. We were like, dude, thank you so much. Like, you're a legend. Thanks for everything. And he was like, absolutely, guys. Like, good to meet you. Like, I'm going to post this on TikTok. And we're like, oh, sick. I think he was going to post it like literally the next day. And so, yeah, it was crazy. And so like having the opportunity to meet him was awesome. And when we had like gotten, I guess, the opportunity to come back and have the chance to meet him, like, we were pretty confident that if we came back, we would have a good chance to meet him just being in the room with him. Mm-hmm. And, we didn't really know it was going to happen the way it did in terms of him, like, wanting to record it and, like, post it and everything. But, yeah, we just kind of saw the opportunity, and ultimately we just wanted an opportunity to kind of say thank you. Right. Because, like, pretty much he really did kind of boost our career and kind of kickstart us. Just by posting that first original video of our songs. And yeah, so we just kind of wanted the opportunity to say thank you, and yeah, so that was super cool. And yeah, it was nice to bump into him again. And then yeah, him posting the video was crazy. Like the next day we were filming more content for the song Blue Strips, and literally like in the middle of like starting to film everything, like our phones just start blowing up. We're like, what's going on? And then it's just like all of our friends texting us and like a bunch of Instagram notifications. And yeah, once we saw that, we were like, what the heck? Like, this is insane. So yeah.
Huge shout out to Diplo.
Yeah, shout out for
just doing God's work.
Yeah,
man.
He's carrying us. But yeah, so that was sick. And then yeah, after that we kind of had like a chill day on that Wednesday, and Thursday, and then Friday was our last full day there, and we went to go see Calvin Harris again at Ushuaia, and then at the end of that night we ended up getting to meet him as well and having a really cool conversation with him. And yeah, that was kind of a surreal moment.
Yeah, I know. I remember we were pinching ourselves after that happened. Like we talked to him conversation went better than I think it could have ever imagined it to go. And then we took a picture with him. It was really cool. We didn't obviously get the pictures right away because Calvin's photographer took it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were just like, well, there's that picture. I don't know if we're ever going to get that picture.
But it's there.
Yeah, and then he went off, and him and I were just standing there, and we like had to take a breath and a moment. What the fuck just happened, bro? We just talked to Calvin.
I know, it was crazy. Literally, we were just sitting there like, holy shit, that was insane. But he was also very nice. Like, he was super cool and honestly, like, easy to talk to, which was nice. Because, yeah, I mean, I feel like whenever you're meeting someone of that level, like, it can always be a little, nerve-wracking.
Definitely.
You never know how the conversation's going to go. But, yeah, he was so chill, just super nice, easy to talk to, and it was a great conversation. And that was pretty much the last like moment of the trip in Ibiza, and then we hopped over to Stockholm for like a day and a half, and now we're back here, and we're getting back to work and starting some new music. So,
Sick, dude. Well, it sounds like you guys had a crazy trip. When you guys are meeting a lot of these people, like, what's your mindset when you're going to like meet these people and talk to them? Like, do you get nervous at all? Like, do you just try and keep yourself super level-headed, obviously be yourself kind of thing? But like, what's it like when you're going and meeting these people and talking to them?
Yeah, I know, at least for me, I guess, like, I never really like get nervous in the moment. Like, maybe it's like if someone was like looking away and I had to like tap them on their shoulder and be like, hey, like, that would be kind of nerve-wracking. But, like, I don't know, we're pretty good at like seeing situations and seeing scenarios and seeing when the best times to talk to these people are, so they're not talking to other people. Like, I don't know. And at the end of the day, I guess I always, for some reason, realize that these people are, still humans and they're regular
100%.
people too. So like I talk to them the way that I would talk to my friends, and I think they appreciate that, because it makes conversations go a lot easier. And
Definitely.
I don't go into it with any sort of motive of like I need to get them to listen to my music, I need to get them to do this, and we sort of go into conversations just like, hey, we're gonna show face, we're gonna introduce ourselves and have a normal conversation, and hopefully that by being friendly and being nice to these people, it's like they'll remember us, and something can, I don't know, if something happens in the future, then great. If it doesn't, then at least we got to meet one of our idols, and it was all good. But
yeah, I mean, it can definitely be nerve-wracking. I think like specifically on that trip, it was kind of nice because a lot of the time we were going up to these people, we had a little bit of that alcohol in the system.
Yeah. A little extra confidence going.
So that definitely helps. But no, I mean, like he said, I think for us, like, we go into it and, we're confident in who we are, and like, as much as we were lucky to be in those rooms, like, it felt very comfortable for us to be in those rooms. And, like when we go up to people that are, famous or, are artists that we look up to, like he said, at the end of the day, they are just human beings just like us, and it really is no different than going to talking to one of your friends or a stranger on the street, whatever it is. It's just a person, and I think once you kind of get into the conversation, it's even easier to realize that it's like, okay, yeah, like, sure, they've made, songs that have billions of streams, but they really are just, a human being, and once you get into the conversation, it's, it just starts to flow, and it's just like you're talking to a friend or, just any other person. So I think the worst part of it is just everything leading up to it. Like,
right.
It's just your mind's going, oh, what are they going to think of me? Or what are we going to talk about? All these things. And I think as long as you kind of go into it not expecting anything from them and just going up to them, just genuinely wanting to have a conversation and getting to know someone, I think, that's kind of how we went about every conversation we had, and it usually turns out pretty well as long as you kind of have that mindset going into it. At least that was our experience.
Yeah. In terms of nerves and stuff, though, too, it's like I feel like we've talked about it before just with each other. It's like when we're performing, for instance, it's like once you make that first mix, it's like, okay, now we're rolling
gone. Nerves are gone. Yeah.
And so it's kind of the same way when you have these conversations. It's like once you get into the conversation, all the nerves go away. It's like it's now you're just having a conversation with somebody, but like to actually go up and like lead up to the conversation, you see them standing over there, you're like, fuck, like I'm so scared. Like this person's obviously because they're like bigger than you, which they are, but I mean at the same time they're still a person. But like you go up to them and you're like, hey, how you doing? My name's Adam. He's Andrew. We're Evenity. We make music. Blah blah blah. And then they're like, oh cool, how's it going? And then you start talking. It's like, okay, I can breathe now. We can have this conversation.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I
will
think
say. Oh yeah, go for it.
I was just gonna say, I think a lot of it too is like how you were saying, like you kind of make up the situations in your mind of like things that could go wrong or things that might not work out or stuff like that. But then, like once you get into it and you actually start talking to people, it's like, okay, it's all cool. We're just two people chatting. Like there's nothing else here. It's not like I want anything from you or I'm trying to pry anything. It's just like I want to talk to you. I want to put my name, my face out there and just literally talk to you and have a genuine conversation and see where that goes. You know what I mean? So I think that's definitely a great mindset to have for sure.
Absolutely.
But okay, let's get into a little bit more of this Diplo stuff. So you met Diplo and you gave him your USB with your track Back to You on it. Was that at the Newport Beach Run Club? Is that correct?
Yeah.
So what was that like?
Yeah, so that was kind of cool. So we both go to the run club. Me a little bit more than him. He's not the biggest runner, but yeah. So we've been going to run club for a while here in Newport, and over time, we kind of DJ'd a couple events for them and stuff, and we kind of got close with some of the members of like the founders of it, and so our buddy Jake, who founded the whole run club. He basically like texted me and called me that day, kind of being like, I can't tell you why, but like you need to be tonight. Like you have to come. And so then it was just like one of those things. I was like, okay, like we're gonna show up. It was pouring rain, and so I'm there. It's dumping. I'm like, there's no way. Like, and I guess I skipped over a part. Like then it came out like on their Instagram that Diplo was coming to the run club and everything. I'm like, holy shit. Okay, this will be sick. And so then I text him, I'm like, I'm gonna get all our new music on a USB, like just get everything organized so that way, if I have a chance, like I figured I would have a good chance to meet him, or at least like hand it to him. And so, yeah, basically like put everything on the USB and, to kind of fast forward, he shows up, we go on the run, didn't really see him. Right when he got there, he got swarmed by everybody, so I like couldn't really wiggle my way in. Go on the run, and then as he was kind of walking away, I kind of put myself in front of him so he was walking towards me, and then just basically like handed it to him. I was like, how's it going? This is me and my best friend Adam. We're in a duo called Evenity. I'd love if you take a listen. And he was like, oh, like appreciate it, thanks. And then didn't really think anything of it after that. That was kind of that. He left, and then we had planned this pretty sick road trip starting in Joshua Tree and then going all the way up the coast to San Francisco and just filming a bunch of live sets. And so while we were on that road trip, we had just finished our set in San Francisco, and I pull out my phone and I get a text from Jake, and he was like, dude, this is not a drill. He played your music. And I was like, the fuck? And then I click on the link, and then it was just a link to TikTok of him reacting to USBs that he got. And then I start freaking out. I'm like, I'm like, come look. And then he plays the first two songs, which weren't ours. And then like instantly, like we hear the horns of Back to You, and we're just like, what the heck? Like, what is going on? And so then he played that one, and then also like a Slipknot remix that we made that was kind of as like a joke. He posted on there, and honestly, I think it helped it go even more viral because a lot of people were liking it, but not really our sound that we make.
Sure.
But yeah, Back to You was the main one, and it was just cool like right away going in the comments and seeing a bunch of people like, what's the third track? Like, who made this? And yeah, but that was like kind of how it all happened with Diplo to begin with. And then from there, we just like finished the road trip, got back, and kind of like settled down and just chatted with, our manager, and, just kind of figured out the best way of going about it. And then pretty much after that weekend, that Monday came around, and then like our email just started getting like flooded with, labels reaching out to us and stuff. And that was kind of the start of, being able to maneuver into ultimately, ended up signing with Ultra. And so, yeah, I guess that's the speed run of everything with Diplo, at least the first part of it.
No, it seems like that led to a lot of connections for you guys, and just like super cool. Like obviously shooting your shot out there and just giving him something. Also, his reaction to the track was pretty sick too. He was like loving it, so that probably made you guys feel super good. But yeah, I think that's super cool of just like not being afraid to put yourself out there and throw your music. Like you see people all the time bringing their USBs, giving them to people and stuff like that, but I feel like it really does take like some like it's nerve-wracking to be able to just throw your USB at some of these dudes who are really big artists out here, and just have them like preview your music, whether that's just by themselves or like Diplo, how he does it with the TikTok and everything like that. That's pretty nerve-wracking putting that out there for so many people to see, but I think that's super cool, and it seems like it was very worthwhile and definitely worked out heavily in your favor. So yeah, that's super sick.
Yeah.
No, 100%. It was wild.
Yeah, no, for sure. I see the video, and I went back and watched the original video again, and I was like, oh my god, dude, this is crazy. But let's get into your track, Blue Strips. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this just dropped on August 15th, was it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Can you kind of just tell us a little bit about what inspired that track, how it came to, why you wanted to drop it, just a little background on it?
Yeah, so our A&R and the president of Ultra reached out to us, and because we had just released Back to You and it was doing really well, and they were like, there's this song by Jesse Murph called Blue Strips, and it's blowing up right now, and we think that it would be a really good idea if we made like a cover of it, the same way that like Lizewo made the Messy song, right? And so like 3, 4, or 5 days prior to that, I had made this idea, not knowing that this was going to be a thing, but I made this idea with all the sounds and everything that ended up being in the final result of Blue Strips. And basically I took her vocals, I just like used a little AI splitter to get her vocals in the thing, and then just threw it over the top, made like a build up and a drop into it, and then sent it back, was like, what do you guys think? And they were like, okay, yeah, this is sick. Let's make the full song. And then the hard part started, because that was all the easy part. Making the song took about 15 minutes, because I already had the song, the project file already set up for me. But then it was a long process of trying to find a singer to sing it, because we couldn't use her actual vocals, because otherwise we'd have to get it cleared.
Copyright, all of that, yep.
And so we had to find a singer who sounded as close to Jesse Murph as possible. And so we ended up, trialing through 4 or 5 different singers. We were scouring TikTok for female singers who were singing covers of it on TikTok and on Instagram and everything, just trying to find singers who could do it. And that process took about, like a month and a half,
Probably,
2 months of just trying different singers out over and over again, having them sing takes and trying to work with the takes, and then ended up being like, okay, this doesn't work out, and we have to move on to a different art singer, and then we try them, and we try them, and try them. Eventually we did find a girl out here in Newport who was like, yeah, I'm down to do it. I've been singing some country related stuff right now, and I think it could work out. And she sent over the first takes, and then we ended up processing those, and those are actually the takes that are on the song now. And then and we got those dialed in. We had to do some retakes and other stuff, but eventually, after a song that took 15 minutes to make, it ended up being finished after like 2.5, 3 months.
Yeah.
And it feels very good to finally be able to say it's out and done. We don't have to deal with that stuff.
Yeah, I know. That one was fun. It was just like one of those things, because the song was like pretty much done. Like the song had been done for so long, and so yeah, it was just like all the, I guess, the stuff that goes on behind the scenes that nobody else really sees, of like going back and forth and trying to find the right person, and once you get it, then all the other stuff that goes on. that nobody else sees. And so it definitely, like, we were obviously super excited to get the song out, and it was just like all these little things that kept it from coming out. We were like, oh my gosh, come on. And so it was one of those ones where when it came out, like, it felt so good to actually like see it on Spotify and see it out on all platforms.
Definitely.
And so yeah, it's been fun, and you know, it's a sick track, and we've gotten a lot of good feedback on it from you know, our friends and other people that are listening to it. And so yeah, it's been sick.
Yeah, I think it's also been really fun because we've been able to experiment with the content that we post leading up to it. And so
Definitely.
like for Back to You, we were doing the stuff that was working, which was, you know, the stuff in our studio where we just sort of set it up and dance in front of the camera. But for this one, we were like, let's try to do some more high quality sort of stuff. And so we were doing like the stuff out in Prague where it's like the album artwork where
Yeah, that was really cool. That I watched that video and I was like, damn, this is actually really sick. I liked what you guys did with that. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was all him. So we printed out a bunch of copies, took them over to Europe, and were able to, like, you know, try and make some, you know, anticipation teaser content that we were actually proud of and leading up into it, and which was actually really cool. And, you know, it ended up becoming the Spotify canvas, with like all the flashing images and stuff,
yeah,
the little visualizers and stuff. So it's been really fun. It's been a big growing song for us.
Yeah, I think
we've had to learn a lot of stuff about, you know, the industry and how to navigate and whatever through just this one song. So it's been a blessing in disguise too.
Definitely, because I think that a lot of artists can probably agree that, you know, having to make so much content and like put so much stuff out on social media, you know, that is a very important part of it now. And like, that's honestly, if you're not doing that, the song's not going to do very well.
For sure.
And so I think that, like, for us now, it's finding a way to like have it be as enjoyable as possible for us. Like, sometimes it is just us setting up our phone and being right here and recording like a little video with the song, and that's all it takes. And other times we kind of want to go out and, you know, literally like walk around Prague for 3 hours taking pictures and, you know, sit down and edit like a nice little more cinematic style thing.
For sure.
And, you know, I think ultimately it's just like, it's part of the game now, and you have to do it, so you might as well just have as much fun with it. And for us, like, putting our own little spin on it, and trying to do things, you know, that not everybody's doing, and making it a little bit more unique to us. I think, you know, that's kind of what we've been trying to do with it, and just having fun with it.
Definitely. Well, content is king nowadays. Like, obviously you guys know that. So, you know, if you're not doing content, you're not on Instagram, TikTok, all that, like, it's hard. Like, it's very, very slim chance of making it. So, and at least putting out content, because I know a lot of people don't like the content they put out, but they just put it out because they obviously have to. And it seems like you guys are kind of behind the content that you're doing, and you enjoy it a little bit. And I think that that's huge, of just like being able to kind of have some pride in the content that you are putting out there, and making sure it's kind of aligned with your ethos and what you guys are really going for with this whole project and everything. So I think that's really cool that you're putting a little extra hard work into it, into making something that you are proud of, and you're very okay with putting your name on. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah. I know we've had a lot of conversations with each other about that point exactly, of, you know, at the end of the day, like, we feel that people and viewers and users of social media can see through the facade of, you know,
sure,
posting content that you don't like. And so, like, we might not be posting 3 times a day every single day, like, you know, all the social media people tell you to do, but at least we're very, you know, confident, and we enjoy the content that we're putting out. It's like, it's not one of those things where I watch a video back and I'm like,
just like embarrassed watching it. You're like, I can't believe I posted this.
Exactly.
Like, I'm excited to show people our content now, which is cool, and that's I feel like that's more important than anything else, because at the end of the day, people can see that, you know, we're passionate about what we're doing, and we like the content that we're doing. We're not forcing ourselves to make the content, and therefore the energy that we have in the content isn't fake, stuff like that. So
yeah, 100%. So let's get into a little bit more of this Ultra record stuff. So I'm assuming that, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is your first record deal?
Yeah, as Evenity, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So what has it kind of been like, you know, being signed to them and doing all that? Has it affected your creative process at all, or is everything staying pretty similar? Like, just give us some background on that.
Yeah, no, it's been great. If anything, I think it's helped us a lot,
Sure.
just because there's been, I guess it opens you up to, quite a bit more resources,
Definitely.
in the sense of like, vocalists and just, having different demos that you can kind of listen to and work on, and just obviously having, them as a team kind of supporting us and giving us feedback on our music and just helping us grow as artists. I think it's just been beneficial, all around. And so yeah, it's been great working with them, and yeah, it is our first label that we've been signed to, and so it's for both of us, I think it's been a label we've kind of always dreamed of being signed to. I think a lot of people probably dream of it.
Hmm.
So we're very lucky and very blessed to be with them as our first label. But yeah, in terms of creative process, like nothing has changed for us. Like they're allowing us to just kind of do our thing, and yeah, it's been great. Like there's not been any complaints in that sense. So yeah,
We've been very lucky that our A&R believes in us and likes the music that we are putting out, and so like at the end of the day, like every time like we'll send him an idea, it makes us excited to send him ideas,
Sure.
which makes us make more ideas, and there's all these cool things that happen. So, and he's always sending, like he said, sending us over vocal demos and stuff that we can make music around, because like as artists, being solo with no resources, it's hard to find vocals for your songs, unless you either rip them or use Splice, but then everyone uses Splice, so then you're always trying to figure something else, and it's much more difficult. And so this has allowed us to be able to make original music that feels a lot more fun to make, because we can just rip through ideas if we have vocals around them already, which is cool.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like that's been really great for you guys, and I hope everything keeps going well with that, and you keep pushing along with them. But how would you guys describe like the musical identity or the ethos of Evenity for someone who hasn't heard you or doesn't know you guys? What kind of vibe are you guys looking to go for?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the best way to sum it up is literally like our bio and our Instagram is like we're literally just two best friends trying to make music for a living, and I think that's a big part of our branding is we're just here having a good time. If you come to any of our shows, it's going to be a very high energy show. We're always trying to push out good vibes, and yeah, we make very high energy music, and yeah, I mean, we're just trying to connect with as many people as possible, and kind of create this big little group of friends, and yeah, I mean, I guess that's the quickest way I could explain it. I'm sure you have.
Yeah. So something that both of us have talked about, just about more famous people and people in the industry, is like, say for instance, Disco Lines, right? Like when we look at Disco Lines, like yeah, he makes great music, yeah, he's playing big shows, but at the end of the day, like we don't look at him like an artist. We look at him as someone like we want to be we just best friends with. Like
Sure.
He just seems like a fucking cool dude.
100%.
Right? And we've loved that sort of idea of having people want to be our friends, and we want to be other people's friends and everything else. And we, like you said, we're trying to make it we want our community to all feel like one big friend group where we do dumb shit together, we go and party together, we go and do things together and just stuff like that. And so we're always trying to promote, just like at the end of the day, we don't take ourselves too seriously, and you're always gonna see us with smiles on our faces, and we're gonna just be having fun, doing everything.
Literally, we're just trying to have a good time, and we want people to share that with us as possible. So like if you come to a show, like we're going to be having the time of our lives up there on stage, and we want that to kind of put out to the people in the crowd that they should be having the best time of their lives as well. And yeah, we're just having one big party, and we're having the time of our lives doing it, and like kind of this whole process of growing and getting to where we want to be, we're just enjoying every step of the way, and having the time of our lives doing it. And I think that we want to just push that out to as many people as we can, and just kind of spread that energy and spread that love. So yeah.
Definitely. And I like what you said about really just like not really taking yourself too seriously, and just letting everything go and just really having a good time, and just really being open to that, because I feel like there are a lot of people today that are pushing themselves and trying to make it that maybe aren't the nicest people sometimes. Like if you meet them and they're just like not like as they portray themselves or other things like that. And you guys seem like you're just really cool dudes and you just like having a good time. And it seems like you are just really open to meeting people, talking to people, and just really like making sure that everyone around you is having a good time, and everyone is, friends and picking each other up and just really, really having a good time. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
and then on top of that, I mean, obviously, we have like our pants that
yes.
We should probably touch on that a little bit. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so the pants, like, that kind of started just because I always felt that, like, whenever you're meeting someone or whenever you're seeing someone new, whether it's like them performing or whatever it may be, like, a lot of the time it's hard to remember someone's face, like, after one time
Sure.
of meeting them, one time seeing them. So I've always thought, like, if we're in a green room meeting an artist, like, and, we see them again 2 months later, they might not remember our face, but I want something that they can kind of, like, that will stick in their head a little bit more. And something that, fans and people that come to our shows can kind of remember us by, to where if they see those pants, they'll be able to, like, right away, like, oh, that's Evenity. And so that was kind of the initial thought in terms of, like, trying to design something that we can wear at all of our shows. But, I didn't want it to be like a costume. Like, I didn't want it to feel like it was a costume. I wanted it to be something that we would just wear if we're going out to have a fun night out with our friends. That's, a little bit out there, but still, can be considered like streetwear or whatever it may be.
Definitely.
And so I had kind of just figured out this little design that I wanted to try. And, we kind of got to work on designing it online first. And then shout out my mom. She's a great artist, so she kind of helped me actually, like, get it out on the actual, like, pants and like actual print. So that's been kind of fun working with her on that. But yeah, so that now that the pants are kind of like done and like we have the design on it, it's just, it's been a big part of our branding. And whenever we're performing, we're going to be wearing them. Whenever we're going out, to meet people, we wear them a lot. And yeah, it's just something to have something for people to remember us by. And, there's also, like, a little bit deeper meaning in them. Like, obviously, they're reverse print. So we have 2 pairs right now. We have the black and white. So I have a black pair with white paint. He has a white pair with black paint. And pretty much if you take the black paint on his and, like, moved it over onto my pants, it would kind of, like, fit in perfectly.
Sure.
And so the whole idea behind that is, we're our own separate people, and we have our different personalities. But when you pull us together, as Evenity in the duo, we come together as one, and we're able to do awesome things, and we're enjoying our lives together. So that's kind of like the whole little backstory with the pants and everything. And yeah, we love them, and people do, and yeah, so it's kind of fun.
No, I think those are super sick too, and like how you're saying, that's a great way to put it. Like, it is a lot of times when you meet people, it's just hard to remember people's face and, like, even names, and it's just tough. If you meet someone for 5 minutes, 10 minutes on a busy night where maybe you're a little inebriated or whatever it is, like, you're probably gonna forget unless you have, like, a long conversation with someone really good, or something that's, like, not just a quick conversation that's, like, really quick. So I think having those pants is really cool, and the backstory behind them is also really cool. Like, there's definitely more meaning there than just some pants that you wear out. So I think that's really awesome, and it seems like that's working for you guys, and obviously you keep wearing them, and it seems like, you guys got a little thing there going with the pants, so it's awesome.
Definitely, yeah.
So, looking back, what was the moment that you realized that, like, Evenity could be more than just, like, a little side project for you guys and actually maybe a career?
I mean, I know the exact moment that we were like, we should become a duo, but I don't know if even yet we've still been like, this is going to be the career.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like, we both know that, like, this is it for us. Like, music is it.
Sure.
But, like, we haven't had any, I mean, especially yet, we haven't had any, like, made it moments or anything that's, like, that out of or crazy or anything. But I remember the day that we actually were like, we should do this as a duo. Like, we were we were like I said, when I was in college, we used to make music on Zoom all the time, and there was that song "Relax My Eyes"
Sure.
by, I don't know that's the name, another whatever,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
ANOTR.
Yep.
And and it was really big at the time. We were like, let's make a remix of this, and we were still solo project at the time. And he had his friend, our friend Ephraim, over at his studio, and he was on the Zoom call with us, and we were just like, while they were chatting, I was making some of the music, and then when he was making it, I was just watching and stuff. But it was like, there was like a moment where it clicked, where it was like, as the song was building up and we were actually like putting it together and putting all the pieces together, there was a moment where I don't know what it was or what happened, but we clicked and we like paused the song. We were like, we should do this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think also too, like he said, like, I don't know if we've had, I mean, obviously we haven't had like a we've made it moment yet. We're
Sure.
still, very small, and we're still like on the, on the grind to get to where we're trying to go. But I think the one thing that like we both share in common is like, once we decided that we were going to start a duo, we were both incredibly delusional in like the best way possible.
Gotta
in the
be.
sense of like, yeah, you have to be. And like when we like started our project together, like we started it with the plan of like becoming one of the biggest acts in the world.
Sure.
And that's how both of us think, and we're both insanely confident that we're going to be able to achieve it. And I think just kind of keeping each other accountable and holding each other to it has just been great. And I think that's been why it's been so fun to work together, is like, if I'm having a down day, he's there to pick me up, and vice versa. And but yeah, I would say we're both equally delusional in terms of reaching our goals. But like you said, I think you have to be if you want to achieve that level of success. And we're very confident in ourselves, and we just, like I said, we just want to have a fun time on the journey, and bring as many people with us as we can, and yeah. So
I think what you said too is great. Like if you're having a down day, he'll pick you up, or vice versa, or whatever. And I think that's huge for just being in a duo. That's something that maybe solo artists don't have, that they maybe have from friends or family or girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever it is. You kind of have someone that can pick you up, but maybe doesn't really understand what you're doing and maybe what you're going through at that moment, and like writer's block or whatever it is. Like when you have someone that knows what you're doing day in, day out, and just understands how hard you're working and how much you're putting into this, like it is really great just to have someone who can talk to you and lift you up, because sometimes you really just need someone to talk to you and tell you like, it's gonna be good, we're good, we got this, like, and really just push you forward and push you up, and make sure that everything keeps going well, and you keep going on the journey. Because I feel like a lot of people end up quitting or stopping or whatever it is because it's too hard, or it's whatever, it's this, it's that, or the other thing. And really just being able to understand that this is a long game, and it takes a while for, like, obviously there's overnight sensations or people on TikTok who blow up or whatever it is, but that's the smallest margin of people. And just being able to have someone that pushes you and keeps you going, and keeps pushing one foot in front of the other is great. And that's something that maybe not a lot of people have, but in a duo, you guys obviously seem like, you're best friends, so you can just bounce ideas off each other and be able to lift each other up when the other one's down, and other things like that, and where you don't get if you are solo. And so I think that's really huge, and it's awesome, and you guys do seem really confident, and that's great. And it just seems like you're really taking some really big strides in a forward direction, and it's awesome, and I love watching the journey for sure.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I know it's kind of funny though, because like you said, it's like we're kind of each other's therapists.
Sure.
Because we both understand what's sort of happening, we're always there to listen to each other because we live together too. So sometimes I have to listen to them when I don't even want to.
Yeah.
But no, I'm kidding. But no, it's nice though, because like, yeah, there's always like that bit of like, yo, we can't become the biggest thing in the world if you're slacking off or whatever else kind of thing. But also
Right.
at the same time, when one of us is frustrated, it's like we get to vent to each other because like we're probably both sharing the same frustrations, but
Sure.
like one of us might not be showing it or something, and then all of a sudden we can talk about it. It's really nice to be able to, be like, oh, I'm tired of XYZ happening, or this fucking sucks. Like, I'm not feeling inspired. I feel like I don't know how to make music anymore, and both of us are like, okay, we get it, and we get to move on with it, and it's nice. So
Yeah. definitely.
No, I think that's great. But all right, we're just about wrapping up here. I just have a couple more questions for you guys. What's some advice that you would give to aspiring DJs or producers out there who are just coming up, whether it's duo, whether it's solo projects? Just what's some advice that you guys have learned, or something that's been given to you, or something that you can just tell the people that are starting out and really trying to make a career in this?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like on the production side, if someone's like really just starting out, like YouTube is your best friend. Like that literally is probably the best advice. That's how I learned pretty much everything. Obviously, I met him and he taught me a ton, which is nice. Which I guess would be another piece of advice is if you can, like, try and find someone that you can work with that's better than you, that they can kind of show you, whether it's a friend or just, you know, meeting people. There have been people I literally DM'd on Instagram and was like, hey, you know, I'm new to music, would love to hop in the studio with you if I can. And, you know, they turned out to be one of my good friends now. And
Sure.
so, you know, just reaching out to people that are better than you that you can learn from, that's the fastest way you're going to be able to get better and learn. And then aside from the production side and like in terms of like growing as an artist, I mean, I think relationship building and networking is obviously by far like the most important thing. You know, if you know the right people, they'll be able to help you out. And, you know, I would look at it, you know, from a perspective of just trying to make friends with as many people as you can.
Sure.
You know, be kind, be nice, and, you know, those friendships are going to take you, you know, places you can never even imagine. And so, you know, and also when you think about it, like you're, you know, just in your daily life, like you're more inclined to help a friend than a stranger. So if there is, you know, who knows, like let's say a show opportunity and someone's looking for someone to open for them and you've been a good friend to them and they like your music, you know, they're more inclined to put you on that lineup than maybe someone else. So, yeah, I would say, you know, just relationship building and you know, trying to make as many friends and being kind in the industry. That would be my best advice. So,
Yeah, I think from my end, I would say it's truly it's not as, just in terms of everything, it's not as scary as you think it is. Putting music out there feels like this big monumental thing because, like, you know, you've been sitting in your room, you like it, but like, what if people don't like it? Or
Sure.
the content that you've made, like, what if people are gonna judge me or think I'm dumb? It's like, at the end of the day, nobody is gonna get in your way more than yourself. And so, like, just do it. Like, just put your music out there. Just go and talk to that person. Go put that piece of content out. Like, at the end of the day, it's not as scary. Everyone here is trying to do the same thing. We're all, you know, there's no answers to this, or else everyone would be doing it. I mean,
Right.
and it's like, we're all just trying to figure out, and 90 times out of 100, it's like, people are going to be willing to help you. People are going to be willing to, you know, do things for you, and as long as you're, you know, giving back. And I would say, just on top of that, you know, support everybody. Like,
Sure.
I would say, for every time that you want something to happen for you, try to, you know, give back twice as much. You know, try to, if someone's making some clothes, like, go and, you know, be willing to, like, help out what they're trying to do, because if you help them out, they're going to be more willing to help you out and stuff like that. I feel, before you start asking for stuff, give stuff away first.
Definitely. And I think that's really great advice, and I really especially like the point where, you know, talking about networking and making friends. And I think the biggest part of networking, whatever that is, you know, like I feel like that word gets thrown around so much lately, but it really is just like making friends and building genuine connections with people, you know, not really expecting anything in return, and then hoping that something does happen, you know what I mean? And just really like building a genuine connection, staying in touch with people, sending texts, commenting on posts, showing up to shows, just doing the little things that matter, and then will eventually build you up. And it's not always connecting with the dopest DJ or the dopest producer out there. A lot of the times too, it's connecting with people that you're on the same level with, or you whatever, because 5 years, 10 years down the road, you have no clue what that person could be doing. They could be the next Diplo, the next whoever, you know what I mean? So it really is just like building those genuine connections and talking to people and just really just being yourself and being a cool guy. And I think that, like, yeah, that's definitely, at least for me, and what I'm doing is just the biggest thing of just like really talking to people, staying in contact, and just making friendships. Like, that's really what it is to me, is just like building friends, people that you could see yourself going out with going and grabbing a beer with, going and grabbing a coffee with, or whatever it is, and just really staying in touch. So I think that's really good, and I think that's really insightful advice from both of you. So that's been great, and this interview has been great, but this is your time to just give me some promo, give everyone, tell us where we can find you, tell us what you got coming out, what you got coming up, just anything, drop it all.
All right. Well, on socials, you can find us on We Are Evenity. That'll be on Instagram and TikTok. And then, yeah, we had Blue Strips that just came out, so go stream it. And then, yeah, we have our next release is going to be coming out next month, so we'll be announcing that pretty soon. And then, let's see, we should be having a few shows coming up, but nothing that is confirmed right now that we can, like, obviously say on this right now. But, you know, feel free to follow us on social media, and we'll keep you up to date on all that. But I don't know if we have any other updates right now.
No, not really. Just thank you again for having us on.
Yeah,
it's been great chatting with you, dude.
No, of course, and yeah, this has been a really good conversation, and I'm glad to just keep talking to you guys, keep staying in touch, and let me know what you guys are up to. I'd love to come out and support and come see you guys, and yeah, let's definitely stay in touch and keep at it.
100%. Absolutely, dude. Yeah, thank you again for having us.
Of course. Well, thank you guys. You have a great rest of your day, all right?
All right, you too, brother.
Peace.
Right, bye-bye.